between the neck, spine, and shoulder right here, okay? And we're going to use that one to totally control the shoulder guards. We can see right now the clavicle has control over a bunch of other things here that we don't want it to have control over, actually. So we're going to change that in a second. But I'm sure you've already can see the problem that we're going to run into. If we start trying to select the vertices in the shoulder guard, beneath it is the arm. It's going to get really tedious clicking on each one of these one by one. Personally, I don't want to spend that much time and that much tedium, so there's a little bit of a fix that we can work on here. So let's go up into our skin modifier. We're going to go below it into the edit poly modifier. Okay, we're going to go into select by element, or you can hit keyboard 6. Okay, we're going to zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to grab these shoulder guards, which are their own element, okay, and pull these up. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go back up into, that's keyboard 6. Oh, did I say element is keyboard 5. 6 brings you to the top of your sack, sorry. 6 brings you to the top of your sack. 1 vertexes, 2 edge, 3 borders, 4 polygon, 5 element. 6 brings you to the top. If you're in edit mesh, that's not the case. Okay, let's go back up into our skin modifier, edit envelopes. Okay, we're in the clavicle. Now we can go ahead and select all of these vertexes. Look at how easy that was. Okay, let's go into our weight properties and expand this so we can see the bones and the weight at the same time. Okay, let's assign it a value of 1, and there we go. How easy was that? And now this clavicle is totally controlling these shoulder guards. Okay, now we want to take these here out of its control. Those can be controlled by the arm and spine. So we're just going to go ahead and select all of these. We're going to give them a weight of 0, and there we go. They just disappear. Alright, don't right click and go to exclude verts. Maybe in newer versions of Macs they've made it work better, but I found that when you do exclude verts, and then if later on you end up wanting to include those verts or give them a weight to that bone, it has some weird effects. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it crashes in a really nasty way. Alright, so let's just give them a value of 0. It does exactly what we want it to. Okay, let's go into the other clavicle now. Okay, right clavicle. Select this other guard. Give it a value of 1. Total control. Okay, let's select the vertices we don't want. For this you can go into also wireframe mode. Make sure you're getting everything. That's always a good idea. Give that a value of 0. Okay, and then we can F3 back into it. Knowing your hotkeys makes everything a lot faster. Alright, so now that we got these shoulder guards the way that we want them, okay, we're set. But I'm not going to put them back down just yet because we want to work with this area right in here. So we were talking about how we didn't want the arms affecting the neck, right? So take a look at it. If I go into the upper arm, the way it's pulling on the neck, why? Because it's got these vertices here that are selected. Even though it's a very small influence, it'll go ahead and move them. So let's go ahead and center in on that area. And now I'm going to go ahead and select all these neck vertices. And I don't want those selected. Okay. And what I'm also going to do is you can see underneath here the line of where the metal part is and the line of where the leather part is. I want all the metal part not to move with the arm. It should stay a little bit more stiff. It's going to give it a little bit more realism. Okay, so now that I've got all these vertices, the metal ones and the neck ones selected, actually I'm going to unselect those. Alt drag unselects things, Control drag selects multiple things. Go over here, we're going to assign 0, and there we go. And now the arm is just having control over this area, or it should. Okay, and now I'm rethinking this, actually. I don't want those in there. Okay, yeah. That looks more. Yeah, and then that'll stay stiff. That'll give us a nice stiff around the neck. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and zoom out. Let's go to the other arm. You can also, if you select... Okay, no, never mind. Alright, let's go into the right clavicle, or right upper arm here. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing. Let's go into wireframe mode and select all these here. Let's get all these ones that are in the metal area, holding control so that we can select multiple vertices here. Okay. And we'll leave that one there. Okay. Let's assign them a value of 0. That unselects them, and there we go. And now what happens when you unselect a vertex from one bone, what happens is it automatically assigns control of that to another. Or even if you take a vertex like this one has got 0.9, almost total control, if I give it a value of 0.5, it would assign that to the next logical bone, but not always. Sometimes it does it in a really weird illogical way. You have to check, especially if you're making a mesh from the ground up. I found a lot of times that it'll start assigning things in a little bit of a weird way if you didn't do your envelopes very well with a lot of overlapping. You know, you'll look then at like the leg and see that it's got control over the arm. So you always want to check in the end, make sure everything's getting control over what it's supposed to have and not over something it's not supposed to have. Okay, so let's go ahead and now take a look through all of our bones. Let's zoom out, make sure everything's looking the way it should. Okay, clavicle, yeah. Forearm, here we go, the hand looks good. Left thigh, upper arm, all this is looking good. Okay. And that pretty much gets us set, except for moving those shoulder guards back down. A couple things you want to watch out for. Also, don't make, like I was saying with the exclude verts thing, how it's just something that's a little buggy. The other thing that's a little buggy is if you select a bunch of vertices and then you try to move to another bone, sometimes, not always, it'll transfer control from the bone you were just on to the new bone. Like, for example, if I were to now click on neck, sometimes it'll give control of those vertices to the neck. It's just a bug. So make sure that before you select another bone, you go ahead and unselect the vertices that you're on. Okay? Let's go up to the top of our stack here.